What is going on, everybody? Thank you for watching, listening. When people join up, I'm going to try to post this as a podcast again whenever I'm able to do that. If I can figure it out. Last 2 weeks, good amounts happened. I got a lot of stuff done behind the scenes. Just getting breakdowns done for the season. I just did Fashanu, Membu, Breece, Sweat. I think Sweat dropped. I did Stevens. I did Will McDonald. The thing I can say about some of those guys, just quickly, Will McDonald, stock up. Membu, stock up. Breece, stock up. One people aren't going to like. Fashanu, stock down. I watched him, and I really think if you're saying anything but he was average last year, then I think you might be reaching a little bit. Numbers say he was better than that, but he struggled more so than I wanted to see. He just... too much oversetting, feet were clunky. I just didn't love Fashanu's game last year, so I think he's more so average as a left tackle, and hopefully he improves. I was disappointed, but I know people are going to hang on to that. But I did say prior to that McDonald, Hall, Membu stock all up. They were all more impressive than I even remember them being. I just recorded Membu quite literally a few hours ago. Just got off the Jake Asman show, so go back and watch that if you want to at least check out the film part and the rest of it obviously as well. But the film part I'm on. Did a breakdown of Sweat. I did 6 plays of Sweat. I think I did 8 or 9 plays of Reese, and I think I did 6 or 7 plays of Styles, breaking those guys down. So check that out. There'll be another podcast soon too. I think I'm going on Let's Talk Jets in a few weeks, and I'm going to go on Dom C's channel to break down. I think we're doing defensive linemen. I think was going to be the conversation, so I'll do that with Dom C soon. Good amount has happened, right? We had the combine. I do think a lot of it's overblown with the combine. Unless something really, really stands out, good or bad, I don't care so much. I don't really look so much into the combine. Now there were some things that stood out, like some of the quarterback, whoever that quarterback was, who's tall and is ridiculous 40 and things like that. I forget his name, but Bailey looked good for the most part, minus that wave drill. Where they kind of, that you have to react to the movement of the ball. He did look a little bit tight there, and he kept slipping, which kind of speaks to some of the tightness in the lower half that a lot of people see, including myself. Styles was beyond ridiculous. I think pre-combine, his rumored height and weight was like 6'4", like 238 or whatever the hell it was. He came at 6'5", 244, which is ridiculous. And then he jumped like 43 and a half inches on the vertical, 4.46 in the 40. So he's absurd. He's 4th on my big board. I don't think from the combine I moved anybody up or down. I might have flip-flopped Bailey and Beast Bailey and Bane. Sorry, I think my mother-in-law just came out here, her dog barking, that distracted me. But I might have flip-flopped them. Obviously, Bane too, and I have to adjust his stats or his height and weight and stuff, but he came in shorter than we expected. I think his rumored, let me see what I had him down as, just so I can go back to my notes. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong on the measurements. I know people will start joining up. He was rumored to be 6'3", 275. I think he weighed in or he came in at like 6'2", 265, which 10 pounds lighter. So if you're talking about a 3-4 end, 265 is light, man. So that's concerning. Plus the arm length is below 31 inches, shorter than we expected, shorter arms than we expected, weighs less than we expected. I already had some questions about just the consistency in terms of like the pass rush plan, and if at the NFL level he could really set it up speed to power. So he was already a guy that I personally wouldn't consider at 2. I think he's 6th or 7th on my board, and he didn't move down. I don't want people to be like, oh, you had him at 2 or 3 and then moved them down 6 spots or whatever because of the combine. He might have flip-flopped 1 spot, but nothing more than that, to my best of my memory. So, so combine happened. Reese looked great as well. Simpson threw. He looked pretty good throwing. Everybody's talking about how smooth the footwork was, how accurate he was. Now, listen, it's the combine. You're throwing in your underwear. Who really cares? But at the end of the day, if he went out and threw like shit, people would kill him. He also had Kurt Warner this week, who came out and said he watched this film and he would draft him in the first round. So I'm okay with aligning with Kurt Warner on certain things. That's certainly I'll take that. So yeah, a lot happening. You had Glenn, who went to the combine, and I forget the question that was exactly asked, but he says that that play calling is his superpower. I know I'm kind of rehashing a lot of old news because there's 1,000 podcasts out there, and guys like Jake have 2 shows a day. So this was talked about 2 weeks ago already, but I got to hit on it at least a little bit. but I won't get into a whole big monologue over it. But with Glenn, like the problem with that statement is if that's your superpower and you know that's your superpower, why the hell are we not calling defensive plays the first year? Like if that's your superpower and that's what got you hired, at least you think so, that's what you're going to say, then why would you not call the plays your first year? So he's putting a lot of the onus on him. We'll see if it works out. For Glenn, obviously past that, we also had the JJ trade. JJ gets traded for Sweat. JJ wasn't good. If they are running more of a 3-4, and again, there's hybrid systems, and a 3-4 could be a 4. It's all about the principles of it. It's not about the alignment. Are you penetrating? Are you two gapping? Are you gapping in a half? What are you doing? So it's not about necessarily how you align. It's how you play. But let's just go with the standard stuff. Like if you are in more of a 3-4 system, where does he fit? He's not big enough necessarily to be a. He's not big enough to play a 3-4 defensive end. I don't think he's athletic enough to play a 3-4 outside linebacker where you might have to drop into coverage. You might have some wider alignments in terms of rushing. So I didn't think he was the best fit. And JJ was a review I was going to do, and I have the plays clipped. So it's not like I'm making shit up. And I think you guys know at this point, I try not to make shit up or really never. I was disappointed in JJ last year, and I've said that quite a bit over the last year. I said even though he had the Achilles, and I factored that in. The pass rush wasn't there. He kind of has the same 2 pass rush moves where he either tries to double swipe you or he tries to bull rush you, and none of them really worked last year. The double swipe misses and he mistimes it. And the problem with his bull rush is he's not linear in it, and he doesn't have enough speed to really get guys to open up where he can get into their chest and get to their quarterback. So I didn't love his year last year. And then you have the scheme change, or the apparent scheme change. And I kind of worried about where JJ was going to fit. They trade him for T'Vondre Sweat, who was a second-round pick 2 years ago, has graded out very well by PFF. I saw all those numbers and stuff. You see on Titans Twitter, he's lazy. He can't rush the passer. He's just a run stuffer. I did a full-blown review. Full-blown review is out there. He can rush the passer. Now, he's not a guy who's going to get you 10 sacks a year, but I think from a nose tackle who's 366 pounds, if he can get you 3 to 5 sacks a year, you sign up for it, and he has that capability. He's a monster as a run stuffer, no doubt. There's weaknesses in the run game too. It's not like he's perfect. Like he could string out blocks a little bit too long, or sometimes he gets caught by a combo and he's a little bit high and he gets moved, which is it happens to guys. So he's not perfect, but I definitely like him as a player better than in terms of like 1-for-1. Who's gonna be the best position? I think Sweat's JJ backer in a 3-4. You get the extra year of control, and you save $11 million by moving on from JJ. That's the one part of it, which clearly, in my opinion, clearly opens up the Jets for a D end at 2. Because the problem was, like, if you draft Reese, who's on the bench? Which first-round picks on the bench? JJ, the first-round picks on the bench. McDonald, first-round picks on the bench. So as soon as that happened, it locks them into Reese or Bailey, in my opinion, at 2. I have a pretty strong conviction it's going to be Reese at 2. But nonetheless, I don't think JJ fits. Sweat's a good fit there. There was something else I was just about to say, and then I went on to a little bit more of the conversation. Now I completely blanked out. Doesn't matter. Some rumors out there flying. Kyler Murray gets cut by the Cardinals. I think the new contract that he can get from a new team without like canceling out his contract from the Cardinals is like $1.2 million. So the Jets go after him. Rumors have been floating. There's a lot of things. The chat kind of fills up, and then it dies down eventually, and then I bounce out of here. I have until about 7 max. So, but if I bounce out earlier, I bounce out earlier. So, any film questions, any draft questions, I would love it. Again, I'm honest with you guys. Like first 2 rounds of the draft is pretty much all I got. Mostly the first round of really guys I've watched. But in terms of the player reviews too, which I think I'm gonna drop like 2 or 3 of them before the draft happens. A lot of them you'll get in the summer. In the summer. But I've already recorded AZ, Thomas, Stevens, Fashanu, Membu, McDonald, Mason, Taylor, Hall. Oh, so actually talking about stock up Hall. Oh, that's the other thing. So stock up Hall. I did Sweat, stock up Taylor, McDonald, Membu, AZ, Thomas, Fashanu, Stevens, stock down from my watching again. But Hall obviously gets franchise tag, a little bit over $14 million a year, right? I wanted to So the Jets and me, Joe Blewett, are going to have different thinking, or we're going to be thinking different ways, right? Like the Jets want to win this year because they are, Aaron Glenn they're going to try not to get fired, right? So they're going to sign guys and do things to win this year and hopefully in future years. So I understand the franchise tag, and if they're only going to keep him for 1 year in the franchise tag, fine, it is what it is. For me, I was hoping that the Jets were going to transition tag him because you save $3 million. And to me, the transition tag would be the right call as long as nobody signed him to a contract that's $14-15 million a year that you wouldn't match. So I think a transition tag is a bet on Breece Hall not getting $14 million plus a year. Now, I did hear some rumors that not rumors. I think Connor Hughes said it another team can make the contract really tricky. The Jets couldn't match it, but what contract can't the Jets match? So I don't really buy that. So I think they could have matched any I would have rather have done it like that, but they franchise him $3 million extra. Okay, it is what it is. I'm hoping that they sign him to a longer term deal, 2 or 3 years, just because he's a plus average running back. I'd have to pull up the list of running backs in the league right now, but gun to my head, he's the 8th, 9th, 10th best running back in the league from last year. The year before that, he was well below average. He was terrible in 2024, or just not good in 2024. This last year, Gunham had 9th. He was the 9th best running back in the league. I think that's about the line of where you pay guys. So I'm okay with it. Hopefully they work out a longer term contract just so the quarterback of the future can have a running back who is legit. He's a legit running back. At least he showed to be last year. Obviously been a little bit inconsistent, but the one thing that's obvious with Hall, and I'm going to say this, but I'm also going to preface it by saying I think this is a little bit overstated, but I still agree with it. I want to see him used as a receiving back more. Now, I think people talk about Breece Hall like he's Christian McCaffrey, but he's not being used. I don't think that's true, but he does have some receiving chops. I just did the review last night. Destroyed Roquan Smith on one route. Makes really nice adjustments to the ball. Beat another linebacker on an angle route. So a lot of Breece Hall's yardage and catches came from being a check down, right? We'll get through your reads. 1, 2, 3, check down to Breece. 1, 2, check down to Breece. Where I think a smart OC would isolate him versus linebackers more and would run angle routes or, routes into the seam or wheels or wherever the hell the route is. Who cares? There's 1,000 routes. So I would like to see Frank Reich use him more as a primary receiver because he should be at least a top 4 or 5 receiver on your team in terms of targets, right? And not just checkdowns. I'm talking about primarily because Garrett Wilson, they'd rather target him. And you have Mason Taylor, you have A.D. Mitchell, and then you have whoever's going to get drafted in the first, second round, or a relatively bigger free agent that they'll sign at the receiver position. But in my opinion, definitely last year, Breece Hall is your second best, third best pass catch option, right? You can argue, okay, obviously Garrett, you can argue maybe AD and Mason Taylor, but Mason Taylor versus a linebacker or Breece Hall versus a linebacker, so even if you want to argue Mason Taylor, primary passing option, a Texas concept, you have the seam, you read the seam. If the seam's not there, you throw the flat, whatever it may be. Now, of Nania's article, they do tend to throw more screens and stuff. So you're probably going to see Breece Hall more involved or have more abundance in the screen game this year, which is good for him. But I still do want to see sets where he's isolated versus a linebacker, whether it be man, they flex him out, he runs a slant route, whatever it may be. Obviously that's easy shit, but I want to see more of it because watching it back, he's smooth, he catches balls outside of his frame, he adjusts the ball well. So yeah, that's about it. I think that's all I got. Okay, let's answer some chat. I always kind of go on a 5, 10, 15 minute just talk session, and then I hit the chat, let it fill up a little bit. Again, I know I don't hit the same day every week or every other week, so there's no set time for these. Once the season picks up, I will do it every week, but it's I could probably do it every week with you, especially with you guys who fill up the chat and throw questions out here, and we're very interactive on this channel. So I love that, but that other day, that one day, because I get Tuesdays, I have my mother-in-law locked in Tuesdays, 4:00. You're here until about 7 or 8. And I do the Asman show. And then after, I can either do a stream or I can get more film done and do breakdowns. And to me, I have to get the breakdowns done. I have all this shit clipped. I need to record shows on it. So, yeah, I still got Brownlee left, Tippmann left, Garrett, Isaiah Davis, Ruckert, Arian Smith, Maui Noah, Moore, Mitchell, Mechie, Briggs, Phillips, all coming. Whatever free agents they sign, bang, they'll be in. Whoever they draft, bang, they'll be in. I've said a lot. We got 50 channel members now, which I don't think is the worst. I don't think it's the best ever, but there's 50 people who are just subscribed to the YouTube for $3 a month, and it's better than 10, 12, 20, 30. So I appreciate the 50 members. They get the full breakdowns, and they get some like banners next to their name and some emojis and stuff, and we'll add some more. So thank you to the nearly 50 channel members right now. Appreciate it. $3 a month. Get the full breakdowns, which Tank for Ty is in here. I just posted a hour-long Ty Simpson review. It's the middle third of the season, so I forget exactly what games those were of Ty. You're probably looking at, where the hell is he? Bang, bang, bang. Okay, so you're probably looking at something like Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU in that review, probably, where I do like 41, 42 plays of Ty Simpson. So Ty Simpson, or Tank for Ty. If you want to watch it, $3. I don't know if you're a channel member already or not, but it's out there. Talk about the strengths and not even the strengths and weaknesses, but I show the worst of the worst. I show the best of the best. You be the judge, you know. And going over the film and watching it, I'm steadfast in my opinion that he's unfairly criticized. But here we are. Beastbreaker, yeah, it's always interesting over there. It's always interesting. It just like it goes from like football talk, film, not always nitty gritty necessarily, but like football talk to dudes pissing out windows in a quarter of a second. So it is funny. What's up, Danger Zone? Testaverde clears Pennington, doesn't he, Joe? In terms of like as Jets, I honestly I don't want to like let me say something. Vinny Testaverde. I think I said like Testaverde, like, oh, that is like Verde. So his last year with the Jets was like what? 02? Oh yeah. Okay. 03. So 03, I was 10. So I was like just kind of getting into the Jets. Like I probably started watching in like, I don't know, 01, 02, but it was like more sparingly. So could I actually give an opinion on that? Probably not. But what are we looking at? I don't know what the stats are for him. 29-7, 21-25, 15-14, 3 for 3, 7 for 2. I don't know. Based on the stats, I would say no, but that's stats. I honestly couldn't tell you. I was 9, 10 years old. Which, Dano, you're around the same age, right? Do you even know? You can't give me an opinion if you're watching Testaverde when you were 7. Does Glenn's D traditionally value safeties? And if so, how would you shape that room? I would shape it with good players. I would shape it with guys who are not horrific. Do they value them? They had some good safeties with the Lions, right? Like Kirby Joseph and stuff like that. So, and when did they draft? When was he drafted? Let's see. Kirby Joseph draft. Was Glenn there when they drafted him? 3rd round. Okay, so 3rd round's not the highest. Yeah, I don't know if he necessarily values safeties. Like I can't necessarily speak to that because they had another good safety there too. I don't know. How would I build that room? Realistically, everything you hear about this draft is linebacker, safety, deep. So to me personally, I would sign somebody, draft somebody, draft somebody 2nd, 3rd round, Thiamond or McNeil Warren or whoever it's going to be. I don't think those guys maybe even fall to the 2nd round, but whatever your flavor is, 33, 44, you can grab a guy there because it seems like there's some good players who are going to fall to those picks. So I probably draft one like the 2nd round, if not the 4th, and then you can sign some guys, right? Like there are some good free agents available at safety this year. I think one was just cut recently, right? Let's see. Free agents. What's that website that's good with free agents? I forget. Let's say free agents, NFL. Let's talk about some free agents because I haven't really hit it very much. I know there's some good safeties though. Like I think Cam Curl's available. All right, Cam Curl's available. He's a decent option, at least from what I know. Available. Yeah, Kyle Duggar, Cisco. You want to bring him back? Cam Curl. Nick Cross, I know that's a guy that did say that I think he's been pretty solid with the Colts, and he's not being brought back. I believe he's another intriguing option. I know he's pretty solid. So there's some guys out. There are some guys out there. I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to scroll through the list really quickly and see who is out there. I know there's more guys than that though. Throw some names in the chat. I know it's more than Cam Curl and what's his name that I just said. Jaquan Brisker is another one. He's a decent safety. So I would attack one in free agency and then land one in the draft. Really, does he value them? I can't attest. Like, did the Lions? Did they invest high picks in safeties? Did they invest high contract in safeties? What is the deal with Jelani Woods? He rode the bench last year. They picked him up from the waiver wire, right? And then he pretty much rode the bench the entire season. I think the last week or two, he came in as a blocker in some sets, and he actually looked decent. And I thought he should get some run because he has the physical upside to be a decent player. And he just hasn't seen the field a lot. I think Stone Smart saw more reps than him. I could be wrong on that, so I'd look that up. But he didn't see as many reps as I thought he would. And he was brought in like trade deadline. I forget exactly when he was brought in too. But yeah, he's just not. I don't think he's even on the team. Rip Lou Holtz. Yeah, I saw that. R.I.P. Tua or Kyler? Who would you rather? God. But the problem, they're both going to get like that vet minimum, right? Kyler. God, why are you doing this to me? What is it? OKA Jet fan? Was it Oklahoma Jet fan? Man, that is such a one. Tua gets hurt all the time. He sucks in cold weather. So you're gonna have him in MetLife where it rains 5 out of the 8 games a year. Where in November it's whipping 40-mile-per-hour winds and it's 40 degrees out. So he wouldn't fit. He's injury prone. So I would say Kyler because I think he has at least the ceiling of being the answer. Right now, I'm not saying he would be the answer. I would bet on him not being the answer. But if Kyler Murray hits. He's a good offensive line. So for some reason, it clicks for him with the Jets. Like he could be your long-term guy, right? Like realistically, I don't think it happens, but there's potential there. Like he won Rookie of the Year, right? Like he's a guy. Did he make the playoffs? He could bring you nearly to the playoffs, if not to the playoffs. So I think there's a world where Kyler could be the long-term guy for the Jets if he works out in 2026. Where Tua, I don't see it happening. So I'd rather Kyler because they're gonna be a similar price of like right around $1 million. My concern with Kyler is the work ethic, the Call of Duty, the having to study tape. Is he unfortunately influencing a rookie quarterback who's brought in behind him, who sees the lack of effort and stuff that Kyler is showing, which you're hoping not, right? Like, I don't think you'd get brought in as a 4th-round rookie and be like, oh, well, this guy's loafing it. I'm going to loaf it too. Like, you'll probably see that as an opportunity. Like, hey, this guy's loafing it. I'm going to go balls to the wall. I'm going to take his job. Like, that's probably more realistically what happens. But I don't love Kyler Murray in the quarterback room in general. But at least he has a ceiling of being a solid quarterback, right? Like, I think Kyler Murray on his best day can be, I'm not going to say the best day, right? Because there's days where like Geno Smith posted a perfect, passer rating versus the Falcons or whatever it is. So I can't say on his best day, but like there's some stretches where he could be the 12th best quarterback in the league. And then there's games where he just completely falls off a cliff versus a shitty team. And then he's, and he looks like absolute ass. So he's kind of volatile. But at least he could work out. So definitely Kyler. Yeah, definitely Kyler. I don't think that's very close in my opinion. Unless it's a thing where like, hey, we draft Simpson, or our idea is to draft Simpson at 16, then maybe 2 is a better option because he's more of a backup. And I think he'd be maybe a better mentor because he's, the temperament and stuff like that. But God, bunch of suck. Any answer I'm going to give is going to suck, right? Like Tua, you're an idiot. Kyler, you're an idiot. Carr, you're an idiot. Kirk Cousins, you're an idiot. Like all the answers kind of do suck. Gun to my head right now, like just gut feeling of who it's going to be. I think it's going to be Carr. I think it's gonna be Carr. I think Kyler's gonna go to the Vikings. I think Willis goes to the. You know what? Actually, let me change it. I think it's gonna be Brissett because I forgot about that. There's rumors now that Willis is gonna go to the Cardinals. They're not gonna have a need necessarily for Brissett, so I think it's gonna be like a 5th or a 6th round pick for Brissett, and then like a 4th round rookie is gonna be the answer for the Jets at quarterback. I would say secondarily, it's probably Carr if I had to bet next on who is going to be. Past that, fucking Andy Dalton and Tyrod Taylor. Woof. woof. But yeah, actually, hold on. Let me do something really quickly just so I can see if there's anything like really current in the chat that I need to hit on. I got to pull it up here as well. Okay, let's see. Appreciate everybody in here, by the way. Again, I know I'm not super consistent. How much Sadiq tape did I see? A good amount of it, because I watched every single game that Dante Moore played this season. So I've watched every one of his games. Now, did I do like an official breakdown on him? No. And obviously, I've said this before, like when I'm watching a guy, I'm laser focused in on the player I'm currently watching. But obviously, the quarterback, you're going to notice his receivers, his tight ends, and things like that. And I like him. I do. Like at the end of the day, let's say the Jets do draft the reset too, right? And then, the receivers falling away where they don't like a receiver at 16. Could you draft Sadiq and basically play him as a big like move receiver? Yeah, like you can play him as like a big slot. He could block on the move a little bit. There were some inline reps I saw that were actually relatively impressive. Now, I think he's only like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know you're an Oregon fan, I think he's right around like 240, so he's not the biggest guy in the world. So I don't think he's going to be like your traditional Y tight end. I think he would be like more of like that quasi receiver tight end, not really playing in line a lot, and not direct comparison, but like a Mike Gesicki type of player, Kyle Pitts type of player. So he's more of like a receiver who can block than a tight end who can receive to me. But I could see it at 16. I could. I don't know if I would love it. Now I haven't done a full eval on him. I can go back and watch him like, damn, dude, this would be a slam dunk at 16. But right now I would say he ran a stupid 42, right? Like he ran really fast as well. So yeah, I wouldn't hate it. Like you're talking about Sadiq versus Peter Woods, then okay, I'm okay with Sadiq, So yeah, I saw a lot of it. Did I really laser on him? No. What is your reaction to if we draft Ty Simpson second overall? I'm not happy. And I like Ty, and Tank for Ty knows that, but I think at this point you have a decent shot he falls to 16, because really, what are the options that will draft him, right? Like, so let's say Willis does sign with the Cardinals. That cancels out the Cardinals. The only really teams who need a quarterback before then are going to be the Browns, right? Now, if a team trades up, they trade up, whatever, it is what it is. But I think it really only be the Browns who would draft them, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. I wouldn't be thrilled. I want Reese there, and especially you trade JJ. I would be shocked, honestly, because why would you trade JJ then? Even though he doesn't fit, but why would you trade him unless you know you're going to draft the guy at 2? So I think the Jets looked at the class, said, okay, we're definitely drafting probably Reese at 2. Let's get rid of JJ now while we can. So I would be shocked for that reason. Do I think it's the craziest thing in the world? No, I don't. Tank for Ty knows it. I'll defend him. I went on whatever show I was on recently defending him, and Tank for Ty credited me for that. And again, like I could be an idiot, fine, but then Kurt Warner's also an idiot because he thinks he's a first-round quarterback, and so do I. And there's plenty of guys now who are starting to actually go through it, and there's plenty of people on Twitter who said that his film, the first 8 weeks of the season, first half of the season, was better than Mendoza, and I agree with that sentiment. I do. He looked better. Shoot me. Don't. But yeah, I'd be shocked. 16, okay. I think Ty Simpson looked incredible on Saturday, but I'm a little biased. Ty got to be the pick at 16, in my opinion, or I'm trading up from 33 to secure him. Jets got to walk away with Ty, brother. Like, and I said on the Asman show, if they draft him and he hits, I get a ton of credit. If they draft him and he misses, I'm going to get a ton of shit, which is crazy to me because like I don't know if I've ever come on here and say Ty Simpson is the best quarterback prospect I've ever seen, right? Like I've never said that. The thing I've been pretty strictly saying is Ty Simpson is unfairly criticized and he's better than people think he is. Now, if you take me saying that he was better than Mendoza the first half of the season as me saying he's a god, then you're wrong, because I don't think Mendoza was so great in the beginning of the year anyway. I don't think Mendoza's that great overall anyway, So I'm not saying he's some stud prospect. So if he misses, he misses. I understand why he would miss. He only had 15, starts, and he's 6'1", and like there's issues there. Gastritis, back injury, elbow injury, all that stuff you have to factor in. But yeah, take it for how you leave it. I'm not saying he's some blue chip prospect you need to draft. It's just the criticism of him is crazy, and I've talked about it for however long. Actually, it wasn't. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was Dylan's show. I was on a Twitter Spaces recently, and we got into a long conversation about Ty, where I've given my opinion here 1,000 times. I give it there. I give it on Jake's show. I give it on every show. So I become like a Ty Simpson defender, and I don't even want to be. But when context isn't applied to him, it pisses me off. So, which actually, just hold on. Let me do something really quickly on my side. This is for Tank for Ty. For all the support. Oh, there it is. Okay, Oklahoma Jet fan. I don't hate Ty. If Brissett or Dalton and Ty, I feel like that's most likely. Yeah, I think it's Brissett right now. Again, Carr would be my second, and Dalton's probably my third in terms of most likely options. Again, I don't hate it. Like, I think Ty Simpson's a solid quarterback prospect, but the thing is, he would be a historical outlier working out in terms of 15 starts. Like, there's not a lot of guys who are under whatever the threshold is, 24 starts, 20 starts, whatever the hell the actual number is. Guys with 15 starts, there's a list of them, and typically they do not work out. Now, with that, like, you have to think about it a little bit differently too, because I don't look at Ty and it's not like, oh my God, I think he has such bad like processing that will get better with time, So people say that, but I think it's maybe a little bit overvalued with a guy like Ty Simpson because he's a coach's son. He understands the NFL game. I think he needs to be easier in the pocket and not escape from the pocket so early, and just be more confident in his reads at times. But like at the end of the day, and I'm not comparing him to any good quarterback, but like if you were to hit Tom Brady again and again and again and again and again, game after game, game after game, game after game, Tom Brady's going to start to drop his eyes. He's going to start to question his reads. He's going to start to question things. That happens with quite literally every single quarterback. There's no quarterback who gets sacked or hit over and over and over again. It doesn't affect their feet or their reads or their accuracy. So the dude had gastritis. He dropped below 200 pounds. He had a back injury and an elbow injury. He started missing passes and then second guessing his offensive line that was getting him hit all year. And then people are going to shit on him, but whatever, it is what it is. I like Ty Simpson. I don't not hate him. I like him as a prospect. If the Jets were a well-run organization, and I had faith in them, I would run the card up at 16. It wouldn't be like, oh, okay, 16. Like I would run up. I would even consider him drafting him at 2 if I like the Jets staff. I probably would draft him at 2 if I like the Jets staff actually, but I don't trust them. So that's part of the issue. So put up some Ty Simpson highlights. If you want any other highlights, let me know, because I have everybody I've done so far. Jets players, and draft prospects included. Everybody I've done these highlight tapes for. The guys who aren't the quarterback where you can't tell where he is, there's a red arrow for it. So let me know. Which, by the way, like this pass, right? Like, oh my God, Ty Simpson sucked versus the big schools. Okay, well, here's a 60-yard touchdown that Ryan Williams just dropped. It's like, but people aren't going to talk about that. They're not going to talk about that. But like just that play right there. Is this Ty Simpson's fault? Like, come on, dude. Take away 60 yards and a touchdown. Neil from Cali. Who would you hope the Jets target with the 16th pick if Lemon and Tater off the board, and assuming they took Reset too? So you're only giving me 3 names, right? And 4 names, right? Mendoza's gone at that point, right? Neil from Cali. So who is going to be there at that point? Like, could you give me some more names? Who would I target after those guys? Lemon and Tater off the board, and Reese is the pick. Styles is gone, right? Styles is gone at that point. Bain, Bailey, Downs are all gone, and obviously you're not going to draft those guys anyway. I would say, like, starting to get into that range, like guys who I would look at on my board. You don't need a D-end. I think it's kind of going to be between guys like Sadiq. I think it's going to be guys like Woods. And then guys who I would hope for, like, better than Woods, better than Sadiq for me, are Vega. If they don't sign a guard, I would be completely okay with a guard at 16. I get it. It's not the sexy thing to do, but if you can get another stud offensive lineman, I'm fine with it. Positional importance. He's a guard. Oh my God. If he's the best player on the board, take him. I'm okay with it. So I would say I would target or hope for guys like Vega, CJ Allen, I like more than most. I didn't see the coverage issue that some other people saw. Now, transparency, I watched 5 games, and I can give you those games if you want me to, but I didn't see some shill in coverage that people claim he was. I actually thought he had some good recognition in zone and things like that. Now, he's a little bit tight for man coverage in general, but the zone drops were actually impressive in terms of his awareness and stuff. Now, maybe I selected the best 5 games I could possibly randomly choose for coverage, but I didn't see those issues. So I would say Vega, Allen, Concepcion I like more than most people. I would, think I'm crazy, whatever, fine. But if you think I'm crazy because you're just running with the flock, then shame on you. I would draft Concepcion at 16 too. I'll be okay with that. So I would say those guys: Concepcion, Vega, Allen, Woods type of guys. And I'd rank that based on my big board: Vega 1, Concepcion 2, Allen 3, Woods 4. I have Allen above Woods. I didn't see the problem. Now, maybe I watched the other 7-8 games. I'm like, oh my God, this guy does suck in coverage. But I was impressed by him in coverage actually a little bit. So let me, you know what? I actually want to do something with you guys too. Let me do this really quickly. And then I want to do the other thing I thought about. Allen highlight. Let me just take the comment off the board. I want to log into my YouTube really quickly because I want to put up a poll question. This is more of not even a fun thing. I'm just genuinely curious. Switch account. Just give me a second. I know I'm pausing here. Okay, hold on. Sorry. I want to ask you guys a question. It's about the draft specifically. Okay, can I mute myself? Mute. Boom. How do you ask a question in the chat? Show your support? No, I don't want to do that to myself, even though I could. How do you do a poll question? Engage with your audience. That looks like it. Start a poll. Okay, you guys. I'll ask it first, and I'll talk about it a little bit after. So this is, and I'm legitimately going to go by this. I think when the draft happens, if you've been here for a little bit, I tend to get a little bit toasty with my friends. We have a few beverages. We enjoy an adult night out together. My friends kind of bail. They'll usually bail after the Jets' second pick. They don't care that much about the draft. They just like the Jets. They're not really like draft nuts like a lot of us in here are. So they'll bounce. And then by like pick 17, 18, I'll come on and just talk with you guys for hours. On that, I don't do call-ins. On that show after the draft, with me a little toasty, do you guys want to do some call-ins? That is the question. If you guys want call-ins, I'll do it. Awesome. But there's also people who don't want call-ins on this show because they don't want to hear other people talk. I guess I don't know what it is, but I've asked people before and they're like, absolutely no, do not do call-ins. So, but if you guys want call-ins draft night, it's a fun night. Have a few beverages. I have a TV, quite literally. Can you see it actually? No, fuck. Let's see. You can see it. TV. Right, attached to my wall, a little swivel, so I can just push the TV into the wall right here and watch the draft as my little board falls. Okay, let's go back to the Simpson highlights. Okay, let's keep going to the draft or to the questions. Jets do have an actual Dolphin room with Reich who could utilize these guys. Yeah, like I think he's okay, right? Obviously been out of the NFL for a few years. His last stop didn't really work out so well. So I don't think he's like some immediate upgrade over Tanner Engstrand. I think Engstrand probably had the higher ceiling. Does he raise the floor? I don't know. Like the last year in Carolina, the floor was what it was. Like he was a bottom 5 unit. So I don't know. I'm not so high on Reich. But we'll see. I like that he's an adult at least, and people respect him around the league. So that's positive. All this talk about Breece. Breece was always going wherever the Jets said he was going. My volume is moving on and off. Really? Oh shit. Okay. Interesting. Actually, no, I'll do too. Because I have that one on. I do want to show you guys, just because Concepcion is a guy who's not talked about as much. Watch some Concepcion highlights. If you're just watching the screen, like you don't want to see my face necessarily all the time. So just watch. Oh, son of a bitch. Just watch some of those plays too of Concepcion. If you can see the comments going over him. But Concepcion, like he's good at pretty much everything. Like he can get vertical. He can make some contested catches. Out of the big receivers in the draft, he has the best releases. I'm not saying he's the best receiver, but in terms of releases, he has the most dynamic releases out of all the receivers. He can invert. He can get yak. He can punt return. He can do jet sweeps. The problem is he had 10 drops last year, 7 the year before, I believe 5 the year prior. So the hands are a little bit of a concern. But at the end of the day, if he had 2 or 3 less drops, he's in the median, right? So I'm not going to let 2 drops, 3 drops move me off of a guy, right? Me personally, so my volume, that's weird though. Tell me if that's still happening though. I don't know. All my shit's plugged in, right? Unless my son tugs on some wires and stuff. So sorry if that's happening. Who are your top options at 16? Yeah, I kind of just said it. Like realistically, Vega, Concepcion, Allen, Woods, maybe Sadiq. Say those guys. 33 and 44. Oh, 16. Yeah, man. Like there's been some talk about Woods potentially falling to the second round. So if he fell to 33, I'd run that card up. Allen is another guy who I've seen anywhere from mid first to second. So I would say Woods or Allen are in that contention as well. And then again, like second round, once you start getting into like the mid second round, again, I do reviews on these guys. I watch as much as I possibly can while like really, really watching, not just watching like quick cut-ups and things like that. So it takes me a little bit longer to process this stuff and 2 kids and shit. So I can't watch 400 guys. But 44, feels like, okay, maybe that's like a Cooper area. If you get like an Omar Cooper or people like, I've seen some cut-ups of that receiver. I believe it's from Tennessee, Brazel, who I like as an option. Anthony Hill might be an option there as well. I know there's some safety depth. So some names I like around there. Arian Smith film will be quick. Listen, I don't want to die on a hill for Arian Smith. The thing I can say is there was actually some times he didn't win vertically. It's just the fact that when you have a quarterback who won't throw the ball deep and isn't, he just doesn't have good eyes. Like a guy like Smith is not going to be really used a lot. So let's watch some Arian Smith highlights of him. There's again, this is like 50 seconds, but on a decent amount of these plays, he actually gets open. He's not targeted. Okay. So I'm not saying like, hey, this guy is going to be a number 1 or 2 or 3. I'm just saying, do not give up on him immediately. Like he gets open on that play. He got open on the play prior to that. So there is some incidences of him getting open and not getting the ball. Again, I am not dying on that hill at all. I'm saying people think he absolutely sucks. I think he just sucked a little bit, for the draft pick. So I will be a member soon. Yeah, dude. Two Ty Simpson reviews out there. I'll be transparent. The first one, I don't even click. Like you can click it obviously if you want to. Great, thank you. I wouldn't just because I did not figure out why I was lagging at that point yet because I changed my computer, thought that would fix the lag problem, and it did on Jake's show. And then I was doing my shows on Zoom, and it was still lagging like an MFer. So I was like, what is going on here? And I figured out that Zoom just sucks. So since I started doing my reviews on StreamYard, it's been so much more smooth. That first review is on Zoom, and it's laggy. So if you can get over the lag on it, then fine. But the second review is so much smoother. And all the reviews since have been so much smoother. But yeah, dude, $3. Watch the tie breakdowns. Let me know what you think. Neil from let me remove some of the highlights. If there's any other ones you want me to throw on from any of those guys, let me know. Do you think the defense is limited more from weak linebackers or weak safeties? Any safeties or linebackers you'd want the Jets to prioritize at 33? Yeah, obviously it depends on who's there, right? Like Thiemann is a guy who was like a second round pick who seems to be rising up boards. McNeil Warren was another guy. Or was it AJ Halsey? I believe his name is from LSU is another guy in that range. And then linebackers, I think it's kind of like the CJ Allen, Anthony Hill, Rodriguez, maybe type of area. I like CJ Allen. I haven't done like full breakdowns or anything like that on Rodriguez or Hill. But I think those are some of the names you're looking at. Now, do I think the defense, like in general, is limited by weak linebackers or safeties? I would probably, that's really hard. That's super tough. It kind of depends on the system too, right? Now, Jets are going to be more like they're going to be more like middle of the field closed stuff and like cover 1 and some cover 3s. You have some cover 6s and 4s and stuff like that, obviously. So it depends a little bit. But in terms of like positional importance, it's honestly a really good question because like if the safety is bad, the problem is he's that last line of defense. So you get beat. I would probably say safety. Like if you had to tell me, hey, I don't think it's this defense. I think defense in general. And yeah, if you run like a 3 and your safety's in the box more, you can make more of an impact than maybe being like a split field safety. Cover 2 does make a big impact. Like there's obviously different situations. But to me, having a bad safety could be horrifically bad, because if a linebacker misses a tackle, you have a good safety, the safety makes up for it. Now you can also say, well, if the linebacker's so good he makes a tackle, the safety doesn't have to worry about it. But the problem with the safety is last line of defense, run game, pass game. So if he sucks, Cisco, Whitehead, you give up 8, 9, 10 touchdowns a year. So I'd probably say a safety is, I would want a safety over a linebacker. It's a coverage league, but it's very close. Yeah, it's very close. It's a good question though. Becton got released, yeah. The guy who was just making fun of Dave Portnoy for eating too much pizza. Same guy who struggled with his weight since his rookie year. Who gets louder boos, our first pick or Roger Goodell? Goodell always. I am so excited for the draft. Like, and I looked at my work schedule, and it's so funny too, right? Because like I have my schedule for, if I stay on my current shift, I have my schedule for the next, I'm working 17 more years. I'm 33. I retire at 49, 50. So I work for 16, 17 more years. And then guess what my full-time job is going to be after this? Stream every day. That's what's happening. I will be a full-time content creator at 49. And maybe I'll be a pistol and rifle instructor on the side when I'm bored. I'll do like per diem or like work random days, because I do have that certification. Yeah, certification. I teach pistol and rifle instruction as well for my police department. So when I'm done, this is full time, and maybe I'll do that on the side. Maybe I won't. Fuck that. Maybe I'll just sit in here and watch film all day. So, but Goodell. But I am so excited for that. But going back to work, I have my schedule for a while out. And when I moved to midnights, the first thing I checked was, am I off draft weekend? And I am, but I work Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, I work all the 4th of July weekend. I think I literally work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday on 4th of July weekend, which is awful. Yeah. But I have off draft weekend. I have off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is so clutch. So clutch. I love draft weekend. And my wife gets mad at me every single year. And we've been together for 15 years now. And every single year, she's surprised at how much I'm glued to the TV. Every time. And then I'm going to come up this time at 2 a.m. with tequila on my breath, and she's going to want to punch me in the face. But I'm going to have to wake up with a 2-year-old. So whatever, it is what it is. I'll be good. 88. Oh, okay. So you could appreciate him a little bit more. You old piece of shit. Colts not tagging Pierce was bad. He's not re-signing with the Colts. Yeah, you never know. My only thing with Pierce, and again, I'd have to really watch him. But with that being said, Pierce, to my knowledge, is more of a vertical receiver. Now, I did believe I've seen some stuff this year that he became more intermediate and short this year as well, and he kind of rounded out his game, which is good, because A.D. Mitchell's more like, he's a vertical guy too. So it feels like with Pierce and Mitchell, they're too similar of players to me in terms of like how you'd want to use them. So I don't love that fit personally, but I don't have 98% of the information, right? Just being realistic, I don't. They get signed on Monday, I can come back and be like, dude, this guy's fucking awesome. You know, that's just the reality of not really watching guys. Jalen Hawkins, Gangrene Leaky, what's up? Jets football weekly, nice. What's up, JDS? Nick Cross from Save. Yeah, Nick Cross. Yeah, Cam Curl. There's some dudes out there. Jaquan Brisker, right? 3 at the top of my head who I just kind of looked at. I think there's more guys out there. So I'm hoping for, like, I think a great free agency, or at least a start to free agency, is like attack each level of the defense first and foremost, right? Like bring back one of ABT or Simpson. I would bring even more depth on the offensive line. So let's say a guard. I would sign another tight end, like a tight end who can legitimately block as well. Those are the two on offense I want. Now, obviously, if you can land Pierce, awesome, do it. But I want a backup tight end. I want a starting guard and a backup offensive lineman. So 3 on offense. Then I want 3 on defense. And I want a D end. I want a linebacker. I want a safety. That's where I'm at right now. So I want like 6 signings that are, I'm not going to say breaking the bank, but like relatively, or like expected starters, I would say. So give me like Cross, Anzalone, and JFM, AVT, Who's the dude from the Kolar from the Ravens and some backup offensive lineman who nobody's talking about, something like that. And then you trickle in, you add some more guys and whatever. But they need 2 starters at safety. They need 1 or 2 at linebacker. Let's see if they get rid of Sherwood, if Ulbrich or Sala or anything like that are going to offer something up for him. And if they do, goodbye. So, yeah. But you need, I would say, those 6. Jelani was typed up. I wonder, I definitely don't have it on this, but I probably made a Jelani Woods highlight, I'm sure. But yeah, he kind of runs like a deer a little bit too. I don't know. Hyped up as a rookie. He was the dynasty pick, but then injuries derailed him. Yeah. And like realistically, Malcolm, like we don't know certain things too. Like he could look decent on the field and have all these track numbers and all that shit. But like if he goes into the meeting rooms like, hey, block this guy. It's like, and again, I'm not saying this is Woods. Do not construe me as saying this, but like, oh, block this guy's like, duh. And if he just doesn't know, then what are you supposed to do? Like realistically, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So you have no idea what's going on with him. When he's on the field, it doesn't look terrible. Reed Blankenship. Yeah, I've seen that one. What incentives does Kyler have to come to the play for the Jets and the vet minimum? He's worth like, you're talking about like, if he signs more than the vet minimum, the money he's getting from the Cardinals cancels out. So he's going to play for the vet minimum because he's not going to get that much money on the open market. So your question is, why would he choose the Jets basically over other teams? And I'm with you, right? Like, I think gun in my head right now, he goes to the Vikings, with an established coach, so that's probably where he ends up. And again, I think it's going to be Carr or Brissett. And I'm going to go with Brissett. I think that's what it's going to be. I think the Jets trade for him. What has he done in recent years? I know he was like a garbage time merchant last year because I played him in fantasy a couple times earlier in the season or later on in the season, and like the amount of and people were playing him, but like the amount of completions and stuff he was getting in garbage time was crazy. What does he do? I know I'm looking up stats like everybody else, but 23 touchdowns, 8 picks. Can he have like a Fitzpatrick McCown type season? I think he could draft a guy, play him behind him. I'm okay with that. Again, no options are great, right? The best option is drafting Simpson at 16. He absolutely nails it and is the best quarterback in the league. That's the best case scenario. But if you're not doing that and he's not going to be that, then yeah, like you're talking about like Brissett, Carr, whatever else. Nobody's giving Kyler a huge deal because then Arizona, yeah. He's going to get that minimum because of that. Lots of options of safety. Billy, if you took that as like he's going to play for $1 million for the Jets, if he was a free agent, he'd probably be getting $40 million a year. So yeah, he would. It's because of that. Is it Oklahoma Jet fan? Can I call you that, or is it QKA Jet fan? I don't know if that's Oklahoma Jet fan. I don't know. But tell me, so I'm not labeling you the wrong way. What is the YouTube? Yes, we have 29 votes. I'll take it. We have 76% yes, 24% no. So if it ends like this, we're doing Collins draft night. So be ready. Be ready. If you're sober, be sober. If you want to crack a beer with me and chug one on air, we're doing it. We're doing it. That's how the draft goes. That's the one night, and I'm not a drinker at all. I rarely drink, honestly, ever anymore. I just hate the way it makes me feel and stuff. I dabble in other things that I'm allowed to do legally in New Jersey as a police officer. But alcohol is not my thing. But once a year, my wife knows what's happening that night. McDonald's, getting dropped off at 2:00 in the morning, be bloated and feeling like shit for 2 days after it because I don't really eat like that usually. Let's see. Jedi 1-2. Okay. Do you think they're consulting Garrett at all when it comes to quarterback? Probably not. I don't think so. I don't think they would consult him. Jacoby Biscuit and Andy Dalton QB room. Is that a typo? Yeah, I can see it. Frank Reich worked with Andy Dalton in Carolina, right? So I could see him being like as a backup. Okay, I'm okay with Andy Dalton. As a backup, that's fine. And Brissett, all right. Again, I'm not writing home about it. I'd rather Jacoby Biscuit, Andy Dalton, and a 4th-round quarterback. 5th-round quarterback. Alar, Green, whatever your flavor is. not Nussmeier. Like at least guys like to me, and I haven't watched all the film on these guys, but I'd rather take like a Green or the dude who blew up the combine or a Lar because they have the physical characteristics, in my opinion, to be a good quarterback if they hit, obviously, which is a huge question mark. Where Nussmeier, I see a very limited ceiling with him. I don't see the arm strength. I don't see the processing. I don't see the movement skills. I don't see the drive from the football. I don't like Nussmeier really at all. So I kind of just talked about that, Neil. Sadiq has a lot of hype. It would be fun to have two tight ends like him and Taylor. But like I almost like I would consider him like half receiver, half tight end, right? Like he's not an answer as an inline Y. Let's say they're running, I don't know, 14 personnel or 23 personnel, right? I can't even say that because he can be on the field for that. But like if he's playing Y, or if you're playing one guy, right, and it's you have all receivers and you have Y tight end. I think it's Mason Taylor over him because he can play in line better than Sadiq, at least from what I've seen from Sadiq. So he would be like a big receiver, basically. Like that's how he would play. So I would almost consider him a receiver. So then it's like, okay, receiving options at receiver are Sadiq, Mitchell, and Garrett, and then your tight end is Mason Taylor. Like he would play in 11 personnel with Mason Taylor as the tight end and him as one of the receivers. Like that's kind of how I see him. 6'3", 240, ran a 4.39 and jumped 43 point. Jesus, dude. Yeah, like I would be all, that's crazy numbers. It's just, do they have a plan for him, right? Because like you need to have a plan for him in terms of how you play him. You can't just like lump him out there as a receiver necessarily. Like you need to do some things with him, get him in motion, get him moving. Question: do you see Olu being able to get better since his stock is down? Can he be a top 10? So, I think the general consensus of Jets fans thinks that Olu Fashanu, like again, and I don't want to lump everybody together, but I feel like most people say he's like, what would you guys say? Like most Jets fans think he's like the 10th best left tackle in the league, I would say. I would probably say he's closer to like 16, 17, I would say. Which is fine. Like, listen, if you draft a first-round tackle and he's okay, I think it's a little bit of a miss, but I think he can improve, right? He's young. My biggest problem with Olu, and it's three things very specifically, and watch the review if you have time when it actually drops. I recorded it maybe a week ago. The oversets showed up a lot more this year, which I don't like. His feet look clunkier than it did the year before. Like there's a lot of people who know offensive line. I'm sure there's some like film watchers in here. Like you guys know, like when you get into your kick slide and stuff, like you want your head to be pretty much at the same level the entire time. Like you don't want the bouncing up and down when you're getting into your set. There's a lot of head bouncing up and down, heel clicking. His feet look a little bit clunky this year, and on top of that, you saw a lot of oversets. And then you saw a lot of, and I've said this quite literally since the day I watched Olu, his pass pro punch is nearly the same thing every single time. And people start to time it where, and it could be a different cadence where left arm can come first and then right arm, or it could be right arm, left arm, but his hands are consistently wide and he tries to contain a guy, and guys would time it and then bull rush the shit out of him or beat him to the inside, timing the punch and chopping the inside hand. And then in the run game, either oversets or his hands scoop from low and wide and he gets his chest controlled and gets moved. So I think Olu is closer to average than he is to being very solid. Like I think if Olu continues to play like he did in year 2 through year 3 and 4, I think it's a conversation about, do you want him long-term based on how he played last year? I'll just be honest. And I know that's not a popular thing to say to Jets fans, because Jets fans are saying, oh, we have our 2 stud tackles locked down for the next 10 years. I can't say that Olu's a stud yet. Membu, watching him back, there's some plays you're like, God damn, this dude's a rookie. That is freaking crazy. Olu, I much closer to average last year than I expected after actually going back and doing the breakdown. So I don't want to be negative, but I'm always going to be honest with you guys. And he just got beat too much. He got beat way too much last year for my liking. Obviously I want him beat none, but yeah, Membu was a stud. So I'll throw up some Membu. Ronnie, I want Sarah. Sarah, is that it? Ronnie, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Have you seen Cook's highlights from school and the Jets last year? He is better than a lot of you guys think. Who Cook? Who are talking about? Brady Cook? That can't be Brady Cook, right? That can't be Brady Cook, dude. Brady Cook was horrific last year when he came in. Now his first game against the Dolphins, he actually showed something. The games after that were horrific. Now he's a UDFA, thrusted into the fire, didn't expect it. But if you're saying the highlights from last year, what highlights? I watched and broke down every game. He was really bad, and I have evidence if you need it. It's not what QB takes a year off when healthy and comes back. You're talking about Carr, but he wasn't healthy. I don't know. You might be talking to somebody else. I'm going to call you Oklahoma Jets fan until you correct me. I'm still 30 minutes behind. Goddamn. I'm always like, I start this stream and I'm like, damn, is there even enough chat in here to even talk for 30 minutes? And then it just starts lighting up, and I appreciate you guys. And I can talk a lot. I wouldn't say JJ's a backup at best. I think he's a starter in a 4-3, but in a 3-4, not a best fit. And he was not good last year. It started to lag. Whatever. I don't want to be like sketching out the studio. 33 votes. Let's see. Still 76. Yes. All right. Roll. Seems like we're doing calls for the draft. Be ready to call in at 11 o'clock at night. I prefer a guy like Carr that you can sign with incentives to reach certain goals. You can't motivate Kyler or Tua. The thing with Kyler is his ceiling is higher than a Carr or a Tua, in my opinion. So I get taking the risk there. But Carr is more of a professional, and I know that he said he wants to play for a winner, but a team who could win the Super Bowl. But what team who's aspiring for a Super Bowl is thinking Carr is their answer at quarterback? None. There's zero. So it's not happening. Like this. So you're staying retired, is what you're saying, or you're going to come out. You said stock down. No. I didn't say stock down on AZ and Stevens. Stock up on AZ, stock down on Stevens. Any corners you take at 33, Colton Hood from Tennessee, other DBs. I haven't looked in the corners so much, Neil. I don't want to disappoint you. But I don't think the Jets are going to draft the corner very early because Stevens they have free. Now, the thing with Stevens is, like, listen, and I think it is a conversation at 16 because if you don't like Stevens going forward and you love a guy at 16, whoever it may be, are you going to bypass the player who's highest on your board because you have Stevens for 1 year, or are you going to draft for the future? Right? Like AZ Thomas, you draft in the third round. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, what are we doing? We have Sauce. We have Brandon Stevens. Why draft him?" 6, 7, 8 weeks later, whatever. No, well, months later, but into the season, he's your starting corner. So like you can't just draft for this year. So if they draft a corner at 16, I wouldn't be surprised. But I haven't really looked into the corners a lot. What do you think of Ty versus Georgia the second time? Not great. Your Mendoza hate is weird. It's not weird. I don't hate him. I just don't think he's as good as everybody else thinks he is. I think people tend to like almost label him as like, I'm not going to say generational, but like people think he's a very, very, very good prospect. And I think he's a prospect who in most drafts isn't the number one quarterback. Like I think Ward would go above him last year. Like Kyler would go above him. Obviously, I think Herbert would go above him. Obviously, Burrow would go above him. So I think he's being elevated in a bad quarterback class to being better than he is. I don't hate him. I just don't think he's great. Is that okay? Like I don't hate him. Just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you hate him. I just think he's overhyped a little bit. That's it. I don't hate him. But I can show you plays where, like, again, it's a thing where system's great, consistently in good situations, run game's killing it, coaches, smartest coach in college football, at least touted to be, good defense, receivers are making, you have Cooper, you have Surratt, they're making ridiculous contested catches consistently for him. Every back shoulder ball he throws up is contested and caught very well. He gets the ball out in 2 seconds because he goes through 1 or 2 reads in RPO. He hasn't taken a snap under shotgun all year. It's all RPO or not under shotgun, under center. It's all RPO shotgun. First, second read, boom, get the ball out. So I don't hate him. I just think he's overhyped. Does that mean I hate him? Then fine, I hate him. Like, okay. Carr hasn't even said but he insinuated he'd come back for I think he's eyeing a comeback. Like, why would he say that on the podcast if he's not eyeing a comeback? Unless maybe, listen, at the end of the day, he's trying to get views, whatever. Maybe that's it. Every Ohio State guy Jets fans want was completely exposed by Mendoza. Mendoza has zero talent on his team. Okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah, Mendoza didn't have talent. He wasn't consistently in 2nd and 3 and Omar Cooper and what's his face catching contested balls for him all the time. Like, I just can't argue that stuff because like, you're just going with a narrative like, oh, Oklahoma sucks. They had a bunch of like 25-year-olds who were dominating. They were dominating their opponents. Look at all of his throws. Like, some of them are like 2nd and 2 because he got 8 yards on 1st down. There's no pressure on him. Come on, dude. Mendoza had nothing to work with. I don't know, man. I just can't. I just can't. I don't know. People act like Alabama is still Nick Saban, Alabama. You put Mendoza on Alabama, we'll see what happens. Joe, an underrated vet option is Mitch Trubisky. His stats are not that as bad as the perception. I think he'd be 18th, 23rd, third best quarterback. Yeah, I don't think he's a terrible option. I don't like Mitch Trubisky's an option. You know, I think he's in that like range of like the I guess Andy Dalton. Maybe not. Maybe a little bit better than Andy Dalton. But I'd rather have like Carr over him. I would say I'd rather have what's his name, Brissett over Trubisky. But it's not the worst option in the world. Tie at 16. Yeah, I'm down. Reese at 2 is a lock. I'm with you. Yeah, Reese is locked up for me at 2. I know Sabo just started looking into these guys a little bit, and he puts them out on Twitter. Like, the more I look into these guys, the more convinced I am that it's going to be Reese at 2. And I'm with him. As soon as and again, I have no bias watching these guys. I don't watch a lot of college football transparently. I'm focused on the 4 major American sports. And then once the draft happens, I look into it. And I watched all these guys with completely unbiased, not knowing nothing about them. And I came away, I was like, dude, Reese is it. So it's okay. If Sony Styles is still there at 10, I would trade up to get him. I don't think he will be, but I'm okay with that. Again, I'm in the mindset of, and I know people now, oh my God, the combine happened. These guys ran fast. This is a great draft class. Everybody watched the tape before the combine, and everybody was saying it's not the best draft class in the world. And now because people ran fast in their underwear, now the class is great. I'm not in a line with that. I still think the class is not great because the film is not that great on these guys. Like, I'm not running home about like, I'm not running the card up for like a Peter Woods or Casey Concepcion at 16. That's just what the class is. So to me, yeah, like I'm trading pick 44 and 16 and getting back up to 8, 9 and picking up Styles, Downs, Lemon, Tate, one of those guys who falls. That's where I'm at. Get 2 first-round legit guys. Again, I know in everybody's PFF mock draft simulators that everybody's going to work out that they draft and everybody's superstars, but that's not how it works. So if you could trade up and secure yourself a legitimate first-round pick, like graded pick, do it. Having a good O-line could help us attract dude, listen, like if you have Fashanu who hopefully continues to improve, he's a solid left tackle, right? I would say he's more average now, but I think he could be solid. Let's say AVT is your left guard, and some depth behind him. Like, he's a solid left guard when he's healthy. Center, unknown. Right guard, solid. And then right tackle, is going to be one of the better right tackles in the league, I think. So yeah, you bring in, sorry. So I was going to say, I didn't mean to say that. You have Fashanu. You bring in Vega as your left guard, and hopefully he's a stud. So you have solid, unknown at center. We'll see what happens. Solid, stud. Yeah, that's one of the better offensive lines in the league. Like, I'm okay with taking a guard at 16. I don't hate it. Like, I get people like, oh my God, we need a receiver. But if Vega is an A prospect and Cooper's a B prospect to them, then take the guard. I know receiver is more important, but take the guard. I'm okay with taking a guard. Now, I think a lot of that's going to be determined by free agency, right? Because let's say you re-sign Simpson and you sign another guy to compete with Myers at center, then probably not at 16. But if you go into the draft with a current offensive line and Vegas sitting there at 16, I think you run the card up. It's not even a thing where it's like, oh, I guess I would take him. I would be thrilled with Vega at 16 if they didn't have a guard. Like, can we not draft the guard? We can't draft the safety. We can't draft the linebacker in the first round. And what happens again if they're A's and the receivers, the DNs, the valued positions are B's? I'm taking the A. I think positional importance is a little bit overstated and overvalued by people. I do. Give me the studs. I think Quentin Nelson makes a big ass impact on the Colts. I do. I think Fred Warner makes a big impact. I don't know. I think Emmanuel made a big impact. So like the positional importance, I get it, but it's definitely overstated. Do I see the Jets pulling the trigger at 16 for Ty? Man, I'm really trying to think, man. He's on the board at 16. He's sitting there for the Jets, man. I'm going to be so nervous. I am. If he's on the board there, man, like, because, again, if he hits, I get a lot of credit. If he fails, I get a lot of shit. And I guess it's fair. I guess I'm a homer for him, even though I just think I'm being fair, but maybe that's considered being a homer. I think they do. God, I think they do. I think they do. I don't know. Hope we extend ABT, not Simpson. Yeah, I'm leaning with that because ABT had some freak injuries, right? I believe it was 2 different triceps and then the ACL, right? It was an ACL or I think it was, I always forget if it's ACL or Achilles with him. Achilles, right? So it's not like he had an Achilles and then he had an ACL and it's like, oh, well, his knee is compensating for his Achilles. So you're going to keep stacking up injuries. They're all separated injuries. So, I think you get them for cheaper and you probably it has to be like an incentive-based contract. Oh, my bad. I didn't even see this. BG the Kid. What is up, dude? Who do I want it to? It is Styles or not Styles for me. It is Reese for me. Just because you threw in a super chat, which I appreciate the $2, I'll just give you my top 5 for 2 in order in terms of like my happiness level or whatever between these guys or who I'll be happiest with. Reese is the guy I want. Tate is my 2. Sue me. 3 is Downs. 4 is Styles. 5 is Lemon. That's my board for the Jets right now. I think Tate is awesome, man. The wingspan, the contested catch ability. I don't give a shit. He ran a 4.5. He still gets on guys vertically because of how good he runs routes. The ability to adjust the balls in the air. He can win short. He can win intermediate. I'm a Tate guy, so I'll be okay with Tate. But I think it's Reese. Okay. Where am I at? Okay. Damn, I'm still a half an hour. I'm still trying to catch up. Okay. Yes, make it an all curse stream during draft. I don't care if you curse on this stream. Like as long as there's gonna be one idiot who calls in with his balls out or something or whatever, dude. Like it is what it is. I'll leave him on and embarrass himself. Like, dude, why are your nuts so small? But I really don't give a shit, dude. Like, do whatever. As long as you're not gonna call him and be like a drunk idiot and argue and curse and whatever, like yell points. Like they draft this idiot because whatever. I watch YouTube highlights. As long as you're respectful, let's shut it up. I'm cool. I haven't done a call-in show in probably 4 years, so there might be one caller, but whatever. Hopefully that one caller is great. If you trade down, what would be an ideal trade down? What pick would be ideal to trade down a few spots? Okay, so you're saying if we can like ideally trade back to a spot, where would it be? I think it's to the point where like you want to land one of the guys you'd be really happy with at 2. And to me, I think the cutoff, like I really want Reese or Tate. So trade down one spot, but I don't think that's going to happen. So realistically, I'll be really happy in the first round with Reese, Tate, Downs, Styles. I guess you can kind of lump Lemon into that, but once you get into Lemon, I'm kind of like, okay. So I think Styles is the cutoff. So to me, 5 or 6, like I would want to trade down to. But at the end of the day, if you trade out to 9, like I would do it. You could probably still maybe you can get one of like Bailey or Bain there. But I would say nowhere past 6. I would say top 5, hopefully nowhere past 6 is where I would ideally want to trade down to. Concepcion looked great during the combine. I don't know if he would make it at 33. I don't think so. Showing wide receiver room gives us more confidence in Reich's scheme. Would you take Concepcion or Omar Cooper? I still got to watch Omar Cooper completely. If you're asking like in general, would I take them at 16? I would take Concepcion at 16. I'm unsure on Cooper. That's gonna be my next watch is Cooper because too many people ask me about him. How to feel about Tyson if he failed at 16? Who's on the board? That's my question with that. I don't love Tyson as much as other people do. I think he has the highest ceiling in terms of athleticism in the draft out of the receivers. But I don't think he's as nuanced as the other guys were. I didn't love him in contested catch situations. To me, in contested catch situations, he way too frequently, he tries to almost like Vince Carter people where he'll extend off of their back or their shoulder and then try to go up and catch it with one hand. And it just didn't work as much as I wanted to see it work. So I think he lacks nuance. The contested catches weren't as great as I think they could be if he just went up with 2 hands consistently. And then you have the injuries. Now, what is the injury report on him? Like if he comes back and, hey, clean bill of health, this dude should be healthy, all freak accidents. Okay, I'm happy at 16. If it comes back and it's sketchy still, I'm definitely not taking him at 16. So it's very dependent on the injury report on him. But because of the ceiling, I'll be happy at 16. But I actually have Concepcion above him. He's my receiver 4. I know there's one person, 2, 3 people out there like, what? Again, it's like typically YouTube highlights type people are like, but his 4 minutes of YouTube were better than his other 4 minutes, you know? Reese for me. Kev. Tim Dow, I know a lot of fans don't want to hear this, but signing Tua gives us the best chance to win. He's won one game under like 43 degrees, and that was against the Jets, right? So I think that look at that. I do a few of these too, Ty. Quarterback. There you go. Watch it. Watch that review, Ty, or Tank for Ty. Let me know what you think. Appreciate the membership. God, okay. Keep going through. You guys are lighting up. I love it. Yeah, Tua? Come on, man. Kyler's better than Tua. I think Derek Carr might give you a better shot than Tua, honestly. Brissett, I think, gives you better. I don't agree with this. That's fine, though. Maybe you're right. Maybe they sound me dominates you. I don't know. Blewettt. It is ETT. Come on, you've been here for too long. It's not ITT. It's ETT. Technically, it's supposed to be pronounced Bleuet because it's French, I believe. But I had dumbass ancestors who like signed that paper for my last name when they were all hammered and like didn't think in the future, like blew it. But it's ETT. I don't hate when people put ITT, but come on, some respect. Do you hear about Sweat's weight may have same issues as Becton? No, I don't. Now, I haven't seen anything like practice fields wise or whatever, but on the field, no, I didn't see any effort issues. Which, actually, I could do that. Where are we at in my highlight? Bang, some Sweat. I just put up a short for it. Go watch it. It's like 15 minutes of me talking about him. Go be informed. Lemon looked the best to me, but I don't know. I could be definitely wrong. That's fine. I have Lemon and Tate close. I do. I like Tate's contested catch ability better. Lemon was really good at it at college, but he's 5'11" at the end of the day. Tate has 3 inches on him. And I think Tate's a more nuanced route runner. Lemon's better with the yak. I like Lemon a lot too. So if you had Lemon above Tate, I don't think you're crazy, honestly. I like Lemon quite a bit as well. Am I crazy for thinking Bailey at 2 is way too high? He might even not be in my top 10 when I finish my reviews. I can help, but I think that wouldn't work against better linemen. What am I missing? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, Moose, I actually said this recently. There's a lot of his moves where like there's a spin move that he threw against an interior offensive lineman that was so badly mistimed where he beat the guy because the guard was awful. But I do think a decent amount of his rush wins are because of like his speed, and he does have a wide variety of moves. He does have very active hands, and sometimes he really puts a good move on a guy. But then there's other times where he's just winning with straight speed. So I just hate when people act like he's automatically going to translate into a 15-sack rusher. And I don't think he can't be that, but to act like he's some guarantee is crazy too. Like you could see on that wave drill, he was very tight. He kept slipping. And you can see it a little bit at the collegiate level, right? Like when he's bending, sometimes he doesn't have the best like flexion or looseness in his hips. So I think he could struggle in space as a tackler at times as well at the NFL level. And again, a lot of the run game, like, yeah, he could penetrate a backside gap, and I think Sabo just said this too, and I've been saying this for months. So it doesn't, it is what it is. I was there first, but Sabo said it too. And I agree with him. He dances too much in the run game. If you've been here, I've been saying that for months. It's a lot of like patty cake and running around guys instead of like truly standing guys up and holding his ground. Now there's examples of him doing that, but it's too far in between for me. So, but he is my 6th on my big board. That's not including quarterbacks. So yeah, at 2, I wouldn't take him. He's my top 10, but Dana is going to call in maybe. You're going to be streaming too, so we're going to be competing, you son of a bitch. Trade for Grenard, yeah, from the Vikings, right? Yeah, I'd be willing to. If you have Grenard on your defensive line and you have Phillips and Sweat as your run stuffers, and Briggs probably as your other D end, yeah, my God. Javon Hargrave. Was he playing in more of a 3-4 or 4-3 though? Because he feels like a 4-3 D tackle to me. Is he more? Can he play as a like a 4-eye in a 3-4 or 5 tech? I don't know. I'll hit my bong and there you go. I don't like to push this out too much, but cops are allowed to do that in New Jersey as long as it's bought legally, which is crazy, right? Only state in the country. How about a location for draft? What do you mean? Like a draft party? Like, honestly, if I was doing this every single day and I had 15 to 20 people who called in very consistently and I knew that at least 15, 20 people would show up, I would do it. But unfortunately right now, I don't think I have enough of a big YouTube presence to throw a draft party. I think I'd throw a draft party and 6 people would show up and I would be disappointed. Now maybe there's more. Maybe there is if I really pumped it out for a few months, but maybe that's a lack of self-confidence. I don't know, but I don't think I have that crazy. I don't have a Jake Asman YouTube following where 100 people are going to show up. It'd be 4 dudes and it would get weird. That's my thoughts. Tell me, hey, maybe in the future. Okay. What's up, Curly? Jets Worldwide. What is up? All right. The Asman show ended. I see some Asmaniacs in here. What's going on, guys? Right? I think Jets Worldwide, right? I think somebody's telling me this is Boomtown. And I think who was just saying, damn it. Sorry. I think it was Dan saying nice to chat with me in the Twitter spaces. Nice to chat with you as well. I like that Twitter spaces because we talk football. I like going in there with PD. PD's a good dude. I've met him a few times at Jets games. Can Olu improve with the new coaching staff? Yeah, no doubt. If I'm noticing this stuff, they're noticing this stuff. I'm hoping, right? He oversets way too much. And the punch frustrates me. The Jets ho. All right. Show. Maybe it's show. Oh, it's the Jets. Okay. I'm just going to call you the Jets ho though, because that's where we initially came up with. Thoughts on Jacoby Lane. I think he's overlooked and I haven't met over Denzel Boston. A vertical threat type of guy too, right? Really slender. I've seen some cut-ups of him. I haven't done a full review of him, but I like the speed element. I like the size in terms of height. I like the deep ability of Jacoby Lane. So I wouldn't mind him in the second round if that were to be the option, even though I like some more versatility in terms of he might be a little bit similar to AD Mitchell for me. But in terms of Denzel Boston, I am not a huge fan. Gun to my head right now, I have to do a lot more work and we have to see how the board falls. Denzel Boston at 44. I would be much more lukewarm on than the consensus. I'm telling you right now, if Boston's the pick at 16, I'm going to be pissed. 33, 44. Okay. I'm lukewarm. 16. Absolutely no. Absolutely not. I can't. Agreed. Oh, what's up, June? You're a Twitter Spaces guy too. I know you're usually in there. What happens first? The Jets make the playoffs or the sun explodes? I don't know. How much? We got a couple more million years with the sun. So brutal, man. I think Mendoza is the most overrated quarterback prospect over the last 10 years without question. I'm not going to go there. I wouldn't go there. I would have, I have to really break down make a list of that. But there's been some guys who have been really over. And honestly, just gun to my head right now, I think just hearing and seeing 1-1 from Nussmeier, if that was his real stock, that's the most overrated quarterback I've ever seen. Bonesy too, dude. They're all pouring in. Chris B. All right. I don't know why Derek Carr feels like Fitzpatrick could happen. Relationship with Musgrave, Reich's kind of quarterback veteran will give us 25 touchdowns and 4K yards. I'll take it. I'll sign up for 25 touchdowns and 4K yards. Yeah. Why can't he have a Ryan Fitzpatrick year? Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the big part of the reason he had that year, right, Bonesy, was the fact that he had Brandon Marshall and Decker who were just absolutely lighting it up. And I don't think the Jets have that currently. But yeah, if you add a guard here and you have a solid offensive line, a good running game, good receivers, and Derek Carr can bounce back to form. Now, you do worry about the fact that he sat out of the NFL for a year and he's coming back, and there's always an adjustment period to that. But he'll throw some hospital balls and things like that. But in general, and yeah, I'm being this guy again, but statistically wise, his last season, he had 15 touchdowns, 5 picks with the Saints. The year before that, 25 and 8. I think he could be a guy who can come in here, throw for, you said 4, but I would say like maybe low 20s touchdowns, 3,600 yards, 7 to 10 picks. I think he could be solid. Like I don't get the level of hate that Carr is getting, to be honest. Like I would take Carr over Tua. I would take Carr over a few, Andy Dalton for sure. I wouldn't hate Carr as much as a lot of people would. Totally agree. Mendoza seems like a good kid, solid prospect, but hard pressed. Again, it's just the situation he was in, the run game, the contested catches. He had like a 2% drop rates. They're catching everything and consistently in good situations, RPOs, all that stuff. Carr under contract. What would it take to trade for Carr? The Raiders might trade up or release him if that were to, or the Saints might trade up or release him. If not, a very late round pick, a seventh swap, something like that. Lemon at 16. Run the card up, Nick, if he's there. But I've never really seen like people from Twitter on here, but now they're popping up. So this is awesome. I like some Twitter. And look at this, Petey. I just said you're a good dude. Look at that. I didn't even know you were in here. Who do you want playing quarterback in 2026? Ty Simpson magically falls to 33. They draft him and they trade a 5th round pick for Jacoby Brissett. It's Jacoby Brissett and Simpson, I think, would be like the best combo. I'd be okay with Carr and Simpson. Gun in my head right now, I think it's Brissett. Brissett for a 5th round pick, I think is going to happen. That's my feeling. Take your best prospect at any pick. Like there's some positional importance right in the beginning, because if you're saying take the best prospect at any pick, then you're saying Downs at 2 or Styles at 2. And I'm taking Reese at 2 because of the positional importance. So I would say at every pick, but I get the point. Like I'm not reaching because he plays the end, but I don't think Reese is a reach over Styles or Downs. Downs a little more safe. I don't think his ceiling is as high as a Reese or as a Styles, because they're freaks of nature, where Downs isn't necessarily in terms of like size and stuff. So, but he's very safe, like a very high floor. So, most of our picks go to bad teams and thus look bad. I'm not as high on Mendoza as most, but he's definitely, I don't think he's cheeks either. I just think he's like some people he seems like he's teetering on generational, and that's crazy to me. Like again, like, first round QBs of last 10 years. Let's see like kind of where he would fall in the last like 10 years. Like it'd be so nice on Google if you just Googled this shit and actually just gave you an answer instead of like, oh, like click this link and like, Reddit post and shit. Okay. This is a good one. Okay. So it's giving you every single year though. Son of a bitch. So 2016, Goff, Wentz, they both go over him in terms of prospects, probably. Trubisky, that draft, you might go 1. Trubisky, Mahomes, Watson. Actually, maybe not, dude. I think he might go lower than those guys. Trubisky with North Carolina, people are really hyping him up. Darnold, I don't think he doesn't go over Baker. He doesn't go over Darnold. Maybe goes above Allen, Rosen, and Lamar in that draft, but he's probably the 3 in that draft. Doesn't go over Kyler, goes above Daniel Jones and Haskins. Doesn't go above Burrow, doesn't go above Tua, doesn't go above Herbert. Goes above Love in that draft. So he's a 4 quarterback in that draft. Lawrence, Wilson, Lance Fields as a maybe he's fighting with Wilson for 2 in that one. I think he's probably 2 in that draft. Pickett, he goes first, the first quarterback. Young and Stroud, he goes above Richardson in that draft. So he's a 3rd quarterback in that draft, in my opinion. Caleb, Jaden Daniels, May, Penix, McCarthy, Bo Nix, all in the 1st round. I would say he probably goes either before May or after May. So in that one, he's the 3rd or 4th quarterback. And then he's behind Ward last year. Like that's just, and again, I might think if I really like nailed that list down, maybe I'm a little bit different, but I don't think he's some generational guy. I think in a lot of draft classes, he's the 2 or the 3, maybe even the 4. Fruity and Slip. Yeah, it's style. Yeah, no, it's Reese. Again, he's 4 on my board. So I wouldn't be terribly mad at it, but he wouldn't be my first option. Nikki Free, yo, Joe, I know you dislike the current product that the NBA puts out, but I just want to put out both Anthony Edwards and Wemby. Both guys aren't soft. They're foul baiters, really enjoyable to watch and super competitive. Yeah, I don't want to get into the thing about the NBA. I'm already 4 minutes over when I told my wife I'd get off, but which is fine. Whatever it is, what it is. She'll be fine. I just don't like that you can not dribble from half court and dunk the ball, and they don't call travels. They don't call double dribbles. Just the way how soft the matchups are nowadays. I got the end of it, but Jordan versus the Pistons, or even the Pistons of the 2000s, like Ben Wallace and Rasheed and all that stuff. It was more physical. Now everybody's too friendly. It feels like a pickup game. They don't call fouls. There's this the superstar bias, and I guess there's always superstar bias, but it really applies to LeBron. LeBron was the face of the league for years, and I think LeBron's a big old bitch. I do. Listen, people are like, oh, he's 6'8", he can kick your ass. Yeah, he could, but he's a big old bitch for his size. The Nets game, he lost one of the Nets games. I got poked in the eye and I see 3 rims and I shot for the middle, but it wasn't the right one. No, you fucking missed, dude. Shut the fuck up. I hate LeBron. Hate him. Hate him. And that's for many reasons. I'm not going to get into it, but maybe you can connect the dots why I don't like LeBron. But let's not put people at the stake when you don't have all the information. That's what I'll say, and I'll end it at that. So LeBron's an ignorant piece of shit. So he's the face of the league. I don't like it. I don't like you can double dribble from half court. But yeah, Downs hopefully doesn't have a degenerative knee. Seems like, so from what I've heard, Anthony, that's a bullshit report. It's not real. Keep me far away from Tyson. Yeah. Isn't the idea to draft your quarterback in 2027? So why does everybody want to draft the quarterback so early? Because this, for us, yes, this staff might not have 2027, right? So this staff may try to force it to save their jobs, because unfortunately, for them, if they suck with Andy Dalton and they get 5 wins, they're getting fired. Whereas if they draft Ty Simpson and he wins 6-7 games, he looks decent, maybe it saves their jobs. So they're not playing for 2027, they're playing for 26, or at least are mindful of it. I mean, if you trade down, would you prefer from? Oh, okay, my bad, Kev. It depends. There's always context, right? It depends on who's there at these picks, right? I could say, oh yeah, trade down from 33, and then it happens, and we're at 33, and Peter Woods is there. I'm like, please run up the card. They trade down. I'm like, shit. So it kind of depends. I would say 16. I don't think there's gonna be a guy I love there at 16. So I'd say trade down from 16. Conception on all day. Yeah, I'm with it. Where the chances land a big fish like Alec Pierce or Linderbaum? Probably minimal, be honest. Lemon gives me Ja'Kai Polite lives. I feel he can give some insight into his interviews. I didn't see anything bad, minus him looking at the camera like this when he's answering questions. Maybe he's just a weird dude. And a lot of receivers have that diva personality and shit. I really don't mind. Jamar Chase seems like a little bit of a douche based on the stuff I see with him in terms of just the locker room stuff and some of the mic'd up stuff. He doesn't seem like the best dude in the world necessarily, but if you're a good football player, Ja'Kai Polite lacked work ethic, and Lemon does not lack work ethic to my knowledge. So he might be is the word aesthetic? I don't know if that's the word, or just odd in some ways, but it's not moving me off of Lemon. Nothing from the combine moved me off of Lemon. Now, if it comes out from a legitimate source where, yeah, he really sucked at the interviews and he was just weird and stuff, maybe, but in general, PH says, if he's there at 16, you sprint that card up. You sprint it up. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling through. I'm 10 minutes behind. If I have any last second questions, I'll hit them. Kev, I said this last week and people laughed at it, or last stream. Absolutely effing not on Mac Jones. Please, God, no. Please, no. If you go to Kyle Shanahan's system or Sean McVay's system and it works out, I'm very sketched. I'm very not sketched out, but I'm very wary of that, because they're the best coaches in the NFL on offense and they can make anybody look good. So I'm not trading a mid-round pick or a second-round pick for Mac Jones, the guy who likes to kick nuts and twist dicks and stuff. Absolutely not. He's a bitch too. I hate Mac Jones. No. Absolutely not. Brissett for a 5th. Yeah, 4th, maybe 5th. It's probably what he goes for. I'm doing it. Yeah, Nutcracker. Yeah, no. Need an edge. Obviously, wouldn't be mad at Styles. I'd be a bit shocked. Yeah, I'd be more so shocked. Again, I would prefer Tate and Downs over Styles. But I would understand it. He's a freak. Again, he measured in at 6'5", 244 when he previously was thought to be 6'3", 236, 237, whatever it was. So yeah, he's for sure. Any plans for a road? Oh, good question. Actually, I think we nailed this down, Curly. What game was it that I was thinking about going to? Because I did Tennessee. Shit, I typed in Jet schedule 2025 like an asshole. I couldn't catch a road game last year. One, because I was supposed to go to the Patriots game, and the Patriots started to be good, and my wife was pregnant, and the Jets sucked ass. I'm not driving there to get bombarded by Pats fans and have my wife piss off me at the same time. If the Jets are good and it's gonna be a fun game, okay, my wife can be pissed, but it's not worth it for that. Buffalo went there. Chicago went there. Detroit, no, thank you. Kansas City, too good, no, thank you. Miami, no. Maybe so top of my head, New England, no. I like to go to games I think the Jets could actually have a shot in. So Chargers, Miami. Yeah, right. Buffalo, Chicago, Detroit, Kansas City, Chargers, Miami, New England. That's 7. Where's the other one? Oh, at Arizona. I did Arizona already, and I did Tennessee already. Arizona's a great place. It's almost like I don't know if you guys are in my area, but like Pure Village. Like it's like a strip mall type of feel around the stadium, and then there's the stadiums right there. That's awesome. Tennessee is downtown. You walk over a bridge, it's right there. I went to both of those places, so I won't be going back until I hit all the stadiums. So I would say Miami or LA probably is where I'll end up. If Arizona's cutting Kyler, why would they also then trade Brissett? So Curly, it's pure projection, I guess, but it's believed that Willis is going to go there. He'll be in Arizona, so that's why. Now, if Willis doesn't go there, then obviously no. But if Willis does go there, then you don't need get the asset for Brissett. So that's the thing, and that's the only reason I've been saying that. Pat, what's up, Joe? I want to go receiver, no matter what. At 16, Tyson Lemon. I'd even take Cooper Jr. of the best receiver, AFC East. What do you think? Yeah. Like the Pats just got rid of Diggs. They got rid of Diggs, right? The Bills is Shakir. The Dolphins have just Waddle, and I'm taking Garrett over him. They might have it right now anyway, right? Like they legitimately might have. I think they have the best receiving room already. The AFC East receiver groups suck, so they already do. But yeah, dude, I'm not forcing it. It depends on Tyson. Not as high on him as you are, maybe. Like I would take Vega over Tyson. This is depending on the injury reports. If he comes back clean, maybe a different conversation. But yeah, Lemon. I would take Concepcion there too. Don't overlook Concepcion. I draft reset 2 and then trade back up to 10s for Downs or Sal. You're not crazy. DeMars, I'm with you. I would draft the Reese and then the combination of Downs, Styles, Lemon, Tate. Those 4 guys, if they start to fall, obviously you can wait a little bit, but let's say, Downs and Styles, let's just say for I guess sake of hopefully being somewhat more realistic, Downs and Lemon are on the board at 9. As soon as at that point you trade up, right? Because you don't know if the team 10 will trade up with you. But as soon as there's only 2 or one of them left, you trade up. That's my thinking as well. You're not crazy. I'm with you. Get one of those guys with Reese. 100%. Ty and Lemon are both there at 16. Who are you going for? Probably Lemon, then trade up from 33 for Ty. But Lemon. Next live stream, probably 2 weeks from today. Twist dicks. Natural, dude, no. Absolutely, please God, not. He's just like a bag of milk too. Like just the most unathletic looking quarterback in even like Stroud, dude. Like I've seen some videos of Stroud with his shirt off, and I get they're like elite athletes, but like why are these guys all skinny fat? It just I don't get it. Like Stroud looks like just a dude at the beach. Like there's no definition in his muscles, no chest, a belly. Mac Jones is a bag of milk. Please God. Simpson versus Mike Freck. Nope, not doing it for old time's sake. I've done it 1,000 times already. But what's up, Freck? He's Freck for a little bit of a behind the scenes. One of the guys I tailgate with when I go to the games, which I used to make like 6, 7, 8 a year. Now I've been making like 4 or 5. Kids and the Jets suck and it rains every game and stuff. But what's up, Freck? Hope you're doing well. Having 2 kids, Freck, is it's fun. Honestly, I'll show you guys this real quick. This is literally right before I hopped on Jake's show. Ready? So you're like, oh, it's gonna suck, and it does at times. But why is the sound not okay? Ready? Dude, there's some days where it's like, oh my God, bro. If I jumped off my roof face first, is God going to hate me? Or like, am I still going to heaven? You know, you think about it. Jim Carrey facelift. I don't know if it's real, right? I don't know if it's real. That's funny though. Would I trade a late round pick for DJ Moore? I don't know exactly the contract terms are off the top of my head, but yeah, he's a legit receiver. He's a low end one or a high end too. So yeah, sign me up. I said this before. I would throw up. At Boston at 16. I projectile vomit. I'll come on here at pick 18 and still be vomiting. Hard pass. One is enough. No, I wanted to, but yeah, dude, not. And like there's gonna be certain people who watch that who don't have kids and be like, oh my God, like you're just letting them cry. To me, and like there's a lot of different things, but like, I don't give in to stupid meltdowns. Like, because then if you give them what they want, then they learn, hey, I melted down. I got that lollipop. I'm gonna melt down again. Fuck that. You know, so no. You have to pick one for the rest of your life. Live with your 2 front teeth missing, or every time you fart, you poop your pants. Can I counter and say, how much poop is it? Because is a lot of poop. Like I can hold in a fart. Now you do slip every once in a while. Like you get older and your sphincter gets looser, and like you bend over and you rip one accidentally. But how much shit is it? Is it like poop? Because then I'm missing my 2 front teeth because I can get veneers or whatever. But I'm married already, right? I don't know. How much poop is it? Would it be crazy Styles at 2? I'm seeing Hall of Fame traits. Yeah, like, you know, just because you're athletic, but he's athletic and he's really smart too. So Styles is 4 like on my board, which I hate to say because it sounds stupid, but he's number 4. So it wouldn't be crazy. I would be surprised though, especially like you trade JJ and then you have that hole still at the end, unless the plan is like, okay, Styles, and then you really like Mesidor at 16, something like that. Fine, but confidence level 1 in 10 in Reich, Musgrave being able to develop a rookie quarterback. So there's some context needed to this, right? Because I don't know if they're going to get it long enough to really truly see if that quarterback was developed, right? Because like Reich and Musgrave are going to be under Glenn, and Glenn most likely gets fired after the 2026 season. So I don't think they're going to have long enough to even determine whether it be a success or a failure. You know what I'm saying? They've been around. Reich has some history with quarterbacks. Musgrave been around, but his resume recently hasn't been great. A 3.5, a 4. I think it's more dependent on the quarterback. I don't think they're going to elevate somebody. McCoy at 16 is a possibility. Okay, throw him in. I'm going to do a lightning round. In your opinion, what are the best 2 possible first-round picks that will make the Jets competitive in the near future? Trade-ups or downs included? Oh my God, dude! You know, like that's the craziest. Okay, so without me thinking about this for hours, because this is a very involved question. Reset in a realistic world. Reset to Lemon at 16. You trade up 33 and like a 4th round pick and maybe a future pick to like 25 for Simpson. And then Simpson comes in and is good because he has a good offensive line. You know, ABT comes back. Simpson's, has Breece Hall, Mason Taylor, Lemon, AD Mitchell, Garrett Wilson. Top of my head, quickly, that's it. Fact. Yeah, you don't give in to meltdowns. I don't do it. Like my kid's crying for Blippi. He's not getting Blippi. I'm sorry, dude. If he talks to me, relaxes, and is like, dad, Blippi. Okay, we'll throw on some Blippi. That's my things. My kid's thing right now. That, and the dude loves snowplows. I just love snowplows. Only a dad. Yeah, dude. I get bottled. I wash my bed sheets. If not every day, it's every other day because there's shit that gets on my bed. A skid mark. Give me the skid marks, dude. I could deal with a skid mark. A lot of underwear. I would bring extra pairs to work. I'm not like my sphincter's not so loose where I fart all the time. So, Snowball. Where's Snowball? Is Snowball Jets Worldwide? Because I've seen Snowball in here before. I've seen Jets Worldwide recently, but is Snowball Jets Worldwide? Did you change your name? Snowball? Or is Jets Worldwide Boomtown? I'm confused, like some of the Jake Asman people. If I don't know who you are, I've seen Jets Worldwide, but I don't know if you've changed your name. But Bonesy, it's nice to see you in here again. You're a little bit spotty, but I appreciate you being back in here. Freedom House, they are taking reads. The writing is on the wall. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's on the wall too. Okay, so that's no. Okay, I know. There you go. A man is a dirty man. Very little will affect him with shit talk. Think about my job, dude. I walk in and I see people who are in bathtubs floating in their own shit for 2 weeks. Like a little bit of poop in my finger is not going to bother me. I'll give you a quick story. I got to get ahead in the next couple minutes. But the other night, whatever it is, my wife was like talking about how, like the baby emptied me, right? Because she breastfeeds. I'm like, great, cool, whatever. She like wants to go to the bathroom, take a shower, whatever. So like I grab the baby and I'm just like patting the baby's back, watching whatever stupid show I'm watching. Baby projectile vomits in my mouth. Not all the way in my mouth, but I caught like a good, probably, I would say 2 to 3 ounces of throw up just directly onto my tongue. It's like, oh my God, dude. Yeah, you're not going to bother me with shit talk. Freck is right. No doubt. It's funny. Lebanon interview looked like he was in a rap video with all of his face. Whatever, dude. He could be rapping with his pants around his ankles. If he can catch a ball and get 1,000 yards, I'm down. It's not the job knowing you personally. Yeah, no, I know. But it's plus the job, right? It's plus the job. You're not going to bother me with much. Freck, I appreciate you being here, and Bonesy and Snowball and everybody else and all the questions and stuff. I appreciate you. I'm going to have to go test a little bit. Oh my God, technical issue, whatever. Nonetheless, plenty of reviews coming out. $3 a month for the memberships, $5 for the whole JetX team. JorB31 on Twitter. I'll be on Asman next week breaking down probably like Downs and somebody else. I'll have plenty of reviews still coming to the channel. And I will see you next time. Tank for Ty, watch that review. Let me know what you think next time I see you. Talk to you guys.